Stand up, fight back.
When refugees are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When Ilhan is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When Congresswoman Ilhan is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Stand up, fight back. Stand up, fight back.
Stand up, fight back.
Stand up, fight back.
Stand up, fight back.
We stand with Ilhan. We stand with Ilhan. We stand with Ilhan. We stand with Ilhan. We stand with Ilhan.
Hello, my name is Majid Egale, Outreach Coordinator with CAIR Minnesota, MAJIDIGALE. Today, we are here to stand in solidarity with Congresswoman Ilhan Omar due to the recent attacks of Islamophobia. I will be your moderator, and with our first speaker coming up, Jailani Hussein, Executive Director of CAIR Minnesota.
Jailani Hussein, Executive Director for the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CAIR Minnesota. I'm here today standing with members of our community in support of Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar has been a silver lining to what we have seen in this country for some time. Particularly as it relates to the anti-Muslim sentiment, hate, anti-Semitism, and much more. Come through.
Thank you very much.
No problem. And Congresswoman Ilhan Omar has suffered tremendous attacks since she was elected even to the House of Representatives in the state of Minnesota, and became a silver lining in the 2016 election after what we saw a rise in white supremacy and hate against communities of color all over this country. The latest attack against Representative and Congresswoman Ilhan Omar by a representative from the GOP who represents Colorado is one of the worst forms of anti-Muslim attacks, calling Ilhan Omar a terrorist. This type of attack has now faced a great deal of silence from Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's colleagues. We ask Speaker Nancy Pelosi today to remove all of the committees that Representative Boebert from Colorado is currently serving. We also are appreciative that on Tuesday night, the House passed the Islamophobia Act, or the act that would introduce a new delegation in the U.S. State Department that would focus on Islamophobia, not only here in Minnesota and in the United States, but also globally. Here in Minnesota, just within the last few months, we have seen attacks against cemeteries, against mosques, and threats against individuals and groups. All of this is unprecedented level of attacks against our community. And the latest attack by the GOP against Congresswoman Ilhan Omar has increased death threats against her. It has also increased the hostility toward the Muslim community. And today we stand with Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. The community stands with her. The community asks her to continue to fight bigotry and hatred across this country. Just this week, we also have learned at the Council on American Islamic Relations that our Ohio Executive Director was spying for an anti-Muslim or hate group for nearly years. This is another reminder of how well-funded, how well-organized the hate movement in this country is, and the impacts that they have against all of us. And we must be united to fight against hatred and bigotry, because it is the most important thing we can do today. And that is why today we are standing here outside in front of Congresswoman Ilhan Omar to let her know, to let the rest of the community know that we stand with her, and we continue to demand her to be, as what she has been in the last few years, steadfast against bigotry and hatred. And in this moment now, when they expected her to walk away, she has leaned in by passing the first time a bill that would send an envoy and actually address Islamophobia in the United States and globally. We're appreciative of her leadership, and we look forward to her continuing this effort. And to the community today, many of them who are still in shock and fear of all the hateful crimes against our community, we tell them that we will continue to fight. We will continue to do what is necessary to fight against white supremacy in this country, because it threats all of our communities. And we ask President Biden immediately to continue to support the effort of this bill. And we ask the Senate to also pass this bill that would make sure that we have that support for the Congresswoman, as well as to address the issue of Islamophobia.
Along with CAIR Minnesota today, we have other community leaders and social activists showing their solidarity with Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Coming up next is Habon Abdullah with Ayeda Leeds, Executive Director, to continue the conversation.
I'm the Executive Director of Ayeda Leeds. I agree everything that Jelani Hussein said. I want to add that if a representative, an elected congresswoman in the Congress has been bullied, has been called names, anti-Islam slurs. Imagine someone like me who will be walking in the grocery in the street, how that person will feel. I will not feel safe. I will not feel be protected. So what we will expect is accountability, that both the leaders at the DFL and the GOP take an action, and we want to see Islamophobia addressed. Thank you very much.
We also here have today Misty Rowan with the Anti-War Committee.
And I'm with the Anti-War Committee. I haven't got much to say, but we're here to stand in support and solidarity with CAIR, who is doing very important work in our communities for Arab and Muslims and immigrants. And we think it's important to stand in solidarity as well with Ilhan, because she's an important voice in Congress right now, speaking truth to power and representing a lot of people who do not usually get to have a voice. So we're just here to say that it's very important that people show their support, and we're here today to stand with CAIR and with Ilhan. Thank you.
Say that unequivocally that Islamophobia has no place and should have no place in our government. Over the past few years, Jewish Community Action has stood with members of the Minnesota Muslim community in the aftermath of many targeted acts of hate against mosques and other communal sites. When elected officials traffic in anti-Muslim rhetoric, it normalizes hatred and makes incidents like these more likely to happen. We know that hate against one community threatens all of our communities. That is why we are working with CAIR Minnesota and more than a dozen other organizations representing targeted groups as part of the Communities Combating Hate Coalition to create policy that will address the rising tide of hate. We know that when we come together across lines of difference, we can stop Islamophobia and stop anti-Semitism. But we can't do this alone. We need our governments and those in power to take a stand against all forms of hate, and at the very least, not fan the flames that make these incidents more likely to happen. Until then, we'll keep showing up for each other day in and day out until our communities are free from the threat of hate. Thank you.